I think there is valid public outcry over the acquittal of 8 SAPS VIP Protection Unit officers attached to the Deputy President, Paul Mashatile, after an internal SAPS disciplinary process. There is still a criminal process happening in the courts. One would think it's an open and shut case. The visuals of the assault on two motorists, a motorist and a passenger on the N1 highway last year, was all over social media and news channels. Parliament's Portfolio Committee is already indicating they want answers. They want to call the National Police Commissioner, the Minister of Police, but they've blamed the decision on an internal process as technicalities in why these 8 officers were acquitted. They were represented by the South African Police Union, and I speak to the SAPU national spokesperson, Lesiba Thobakgale. Now, good morning, Lesiba. Really appreciate your time. I appreciate the duty of a union to represent in the best interests of its members, of which these VIP protection officers are. But in the face of glaring documented evidence of an assault on motorists, on the public, wouldn't the best interest in this case to receive some form of public justice in the case of these officers? Good morning.
Morning, Lester, and also greetings to your listeners. Discipline in the South African Police Services, it is a line management function, which clearly means that a line manager of the members has a responsibility if there's any allegations against an employee to investigate. And if there's any case that a member has to answer to, then they would answer to that case. And in this regard, I think we were quite consistent, because we had said, even previously when the video was circulating on social media, that we should allow internal processes to unfold. And those internal processes are the ones that would clearly show the outcome. And in this regard, members were subjected to the same, like when any member is found, having allegations against them. And in this regard, we represented the members and they were acquitted. I think what is indeed causing a public outcry to those who are having an outcry on this matter is because most of them, they stood out to be the judges of the members, whereas they are not the ones involved in the internal processes. I mean, they were subjected to discipline in terms of disciplinary regulations of 2016. They were presented before the chairperson, and it was a chairperson who, after having heard what was presented, then decided to acquit them. So that is applied in terms of the principles that are there within the discipline. There's nothing else, a public outcry or anyone saying anything. It does not have an impact into the internal processes, because it means that the unfairness would be applied because of public pressure. But in this regard, if they were not subjected to a disciplinary processes, then one would say maybe there is something to really look into. But in this regard, they were presented before the chairperson, and all of the whole process was followed. I think what the public does not know is that in the middle of their discipline, they were even suspended for a period of close to 3 months, which we had to fight for that without any remuneration. You can imagine, without a salary for a month, whether would you survive? At that time, there is nothing that is showing to say, okay, this is the right procedure, which was unprocedural at that level during the disciplinary case while it is on, because
Lesiba, the chairperson of the Police Portfolio Committee, largely believes this case was based on technicalities. It failed based on technicalities. Chairperson recusal applications, members being sick on hearing days. It claims that union reps unavailable on certain days, new reps then demanding postponements, employer blocked from responding to objections. They believe that this case, the acquittal of these members, was largely due to technicalities, and if I read between the lines, technicalities brought on by the South African Police Union.
Yeah, and it is surprising that what does the chairperson of the portfolio committee has to do with discipline in the SAPS? because his responsibility is based on SAPS accounting on issues in terms of operations, because he's not Mr. Ian Cameron is not a line manager of the police, or he's not even a senior manager within the police, which that undermines the responsibilities that the National Commissioner of Police has in regard to this issue as a senior manager within the South African Police Services. In terms of the technicalities that is alluding to, every case it gets to be dealt with its own merits. In the beginning, it wasn't ourselves who represented the members. Those who were representing them, they left them by the wayside. That's when we came in. And definitely when you come into a case, you have to climatize yourself deeply into how far the case went, what was done. That is what led to, we remember just an issue of a postponement in order to climatize ourselves. But further to that, we went on with the case. Unfortunately, it was even on the side of the employer, where the chairpersons had to be changed, and further to further delays, and they are traveling, because some of them were coming from different provinces, coming to Gauteng in terms of this case. What we give our focus to is to say the disciplinary hearing was conducted and the outcome was given by the chairperson, who worked on what was presented before him, and he had to apply fairness in this regard.
Lesiba, I have to leave it there, but really appreciate your time, because I need to speak to Ulrich Roux, Lesiba Thobakgale, SAPO National spokesperson. But Ulrich Roux is the lawyer for the victims in this particular case in 2023 on the N1 clear video evidence. Ulrich, thanks so much for joining us. Just your victims' response and reaction to hearing that from an internal SAPS disciplinary point of view, these 8 police officers continue to be in their jobs.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having me. Yes, just for clarity, my firm represents 3 of the 4 victims of that assault. Yes, they are naturally very disappointed at the outcome of the internal police disciplinary hearing, but they are not deterred in terms of the pending criminal charges against these policemen, as well as the civil action that has been launched against them. Whilst they are very disappointed in the outcome of those proceedings, the onus of proof is completely different in a criminal matter, as well as in civil litigation in the High Court. So there's unfortunately not much they can do about the internal mechanisms of the police, but same as the public, the public has seen what transpired in 2023 when this incident occurred. The video has been circulated widely, and one can understand why there is a public outcry. But there's not much that our clients can do about the internal police proceedings.
From a legal standing, if there is a pending criminal trial in our courts, if these officers are in fact found guilty by our courts, could internal processes be reinstated? It would be a case of double jeopardy. They can't be found guilty by an internal process, or they can't be tried by an internal process twice.
No, most certainly further disciplinary proceedings can commence should there be a conviction and they be found guilty in a criminal court, because they will then obviously be left with a criminal record, and their employment within the police could be revisited. So most certainly that is a possibility subsequent to the finalization of the criminal matter.
Ulrich Roux, I have to leave it there, but thank you so much for your time. He is the lawyer representing 3 of the 4 victims in that N1 assault in 2023 by Paul Mashatile's blue light bullies.